Hello fellow explorers, my name is Toni Tapia and today we're going to be discussing Venus. So for starters, Venus is the second planet from the Sun. It's also Earth's closest planetary neighbor. Venus is going to be an inferior conjunction planet, which just simply means that it sits between the Earth and the Sun. In this video, you're going to be able to see how fast Venus orbits around the Sun versus how fast Earth orbits around the Sun. Venus is the orange colored dot here, and Earth is the outer colored dot. And right in the middle here is the Sun. So for every 8 times that the Earth orbits the Sun, Venus will orbit the Sun about 13 times. It's about 0.7 astronomical units away from the Sun and takes sunlight about 6 minutes to travel from the Sun to Venus. Size-wise, Venus has a radius of about 3,760 miles. In fact, it's only a little bit smaller than Earth, shown right here and then of course right here. Here in this video, you're also going to be able to really appreciate the size of Venus while comparing it to other planets. So the next biggest planet up from Venus is Earth. Then you have Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and lastly Jupiter. So right in the center, Venus is going to have a metallic iron core that sits about 2,000 miles in radius. Above the core is the rocky mantle, which is made up of hot rock, and it's going to be slowly churning due to the interior heat that's going on. Next, you're going to have the crust, or the surface, and the crust is going to be a very thin and rocky layer that moves as the Venus mantle shifts. Then in the atmosphere, you're going to find that it's mostly comprised of carbon dioxide with a little bit of nitrogen. And lastly, towards the outer layer of the atmosphere, you're going to find sulfuric acid, which has sulfuric acid cloud layers. And that really does attribute to the sulfuric acid haziness that's going on in the surface of Venus. So Venus itself has a very thick atmosphere that traps heat in a runaway greenhouse effect, which also helps make it the hottest planet in our solar system. This atmosphere is so thick and heavy that the NASA website stated that it would feel as if you were 1 mile deep underwater. On the surface, you'll see that Venus is covered in craters, and if you were to look at this photo here, it's going to look very reminiscent to how a hazy, overcast type of day would be here on Earth. Now in this video, towards the right of your screen, let me just fast forward that a little bit to about 1 minute. Here, it's going to show you a simulation of the terrain of Venus. Now, first up, shown right now, they're going to show you some dormant volcanoes. Now, these dormant volcanoes are scattered throughout the surface. Next up, it's going to show you a simulation of a few of the deep channels that are all around the surface of Venus as well. So I found it very fascinating that Venus is the second brightest object in the night sky after the moon and is the third brightest object in the sky, period, after the sun and the moon, of course. So this is because sunlight is very easily reflected by the acidic clouds in Venus's atmosphere. And I thought that this fact was really impressive considering that the planet is actually only a little bit smaller than Earth is. So, should we keep researching Venus? Personally, I say yes. Scientists have discovered that there are no other adjacent planets in the entire galaxy that share such similarities as Venus and Earth do. So there's this huge question as to why or how Venus lost its ability to be habitable, while Earth didn't. And I think by understanding more of how this came to be would enlighten us to learn more about issues here on Earth, like greenhouse effects and possibly even more about climate change. Here are the resources or the references that I use for the presentation, and thank you so much for watching.